Adam Wharton, again today, has been linked to the move away from Crystal Palace, and Chelsea are the latest club to have thrown their hats in the mix. Not only that, Maignan, the AC Milan goalkeeper, has again today been linked to a move to Chelsea due to the uncertainty of that goalkeeper situation at Chelsea Football Club. And this story, could we see Vinícius Júnior join Chelsea Football Club? Yes, you heard that correct. A 150 million euro deal worth 152 million pounds. Could we see Vinícius Júnior in the Premier League? Now, I listen. If Vinícius Júnior signs for Chelsea, even the thought of that, Gustavo, Vini Jr., Cole Palmer, Enzo, Caicedo, maybe Adam Wharton, their team will be ridiculous. That's the sort of statement signings that Chelsea fans want to see. A lot of people have questioned Clearlake, questioned Blueco, whatever it may be. This Chelsea structure, not good enough. They've all said, and I quote, "We need win now players." I personally believe Vinícius Júnior and Kylian Mbappe doesn't really work at Real Madrid. Vinícius Júnior is 25 years of age, got 9 GA in 12 league games in La Liga, does not have a goal in the Champions League yet. Some people may say it doesn't make sense. I'm going to break all of this down. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you haven't already, and let me know your thoughts. Make sure you also hit that subscribe button. The road to 84,000 subscribers is well and truly on. We've just hit 83,200, and we're about 40 or so away from 83,300. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're going to start, first of all, with the Adam Wharton news. Now, he is one of my favorite midfielders in the Premier League. Now, before we actually speak on this, Lavia is going to be out for another 4 weeks, which was news that came out a few days ago, which would mean by the time the international break comes around, he will be missing their game against Burnley, their game against Arsenal, and against Barcelona. I honestly see a world in which Lavia will get sold from Chelsea. He's coming up to missing 100 Premier League games, which is absolutely obscene. Now, we've seen Anderson being linked from Crystal Palace. I'm a big fan of Anderson. I think he's a top player. Done it at, Nottingham Forest now for a couple of years. He's only 23. But I do believe out of the two, Adam Wharton is, I don't want to say by far, because I think that's harsh, but I think he's better than Anderson. And I think he has the potential to be England's best central midfielder. And you're going to say, what about Bellingham? What about Rice? I understand that. They're a bit older. They're more experienced. He, for me, heavily linked with Man City now for a couple of years. He's only on 35,000. I say only, it's an incredible amount of money. He's on £35,000 a week. He's 22 in February. He's just signed a long-term deal with Palace last year. But this is what Chelsea do. This is exactly what Chelsea do. Enzo Fernandez, big money. Caicedo, big money. João Pedro, Pedro Neto, Estavo. They are very, very good at picking up players from smaller clubs. No offense to Crystal Palace. They're in a really good position. They've recently won the FA Cup. The report says Crystal Palace and England midfielder Adam Wharton is Chelsea's leading target for the January window. Now, I'm going to be the first person to say, if this happens, this would be a summer move. The 21-year-old has caught the eye with his composure, passing range, and the control of the game from deep, and Chelsea's recruitment staff view him as a future cornerstone of the team. However, insiders indicate a move is much more likely in the summer of 2026, allowing both clubs greater flexibility to work out a deal. Caicedo and Adam Wharton would be the best double pivot, in my opinion, by far in the Premier League. With Cole Palmer in the 10, with players that can quite easily come in, like Enzo Fernandez, like Santos. The depth they'd have would be very, very strong in midfield. I think it's more realistic this happens in the summer, like this report says right here. Now, Adam Wharton, let's actually have a look at him, because this is his wages, which Chelsea could comfortably improve. Plus, he fits the age profile, which Chelsea like. We know they don't really like signing players over the age of 27, 28. 21, he'd be 22 by the summer. 9 games in the Premier League, 3 games in the Conference League, £35,000 a week, heavily involved in that Crystal Palace side that won the FA Cup and the Charity Shield. For me, would be a statement signing for Chelsea Football Club, and this is the sort of signing for me that takes them to the next level. Now, this report, before I get into it, I want to say is absolutely insane. Like, imagine that as a front line. Brazil, look, they've got one end of a player in Gustavo. João Pedro, we know he's good. But Vini Jr. in the same front line? Vini Jr. at Chelsea? Vini Jr. in the Premier League? Vini Jr. in London? I'm absolutely praying this doesn't happen. Chelsea are prepared to make Real Madrid's Vinícius Júnior their most expensive signing ever, after signalling an intention to table an offer close to 150 million euros, which is 132 million pounds. Club officials have fallen in love with the idea of playing Vinícius Júnior on the left, Gustavo on the right, and João Pedro through the middle, meaning Chelsea have the 3 of the best Brazilians on the planet playing at Stamford Bridge. Now, why I don't think this is realistic, but we will speak on it because it has got a lot of people talking, is he does not fit their wage structure. Unless they're prepared to change their wage structure, I don't necessarily see this happening. Vini Jr. has won it all at Real Madrid, one of the best players in the world, but he's also on 400,000 euros a week, which would by very far, make him Chelsea's most expensive wage they've got at the club. He's 25. He's going to be 26 by next season. But I also believe in a world there isn't I don't think Vini and Mbappe play their best football when they're both on the pitch. I've watched Real Madrid a lot this season in the Champions League. I've watched them sometimes in La Liga. I watched them get absolutely battered a couple of times this season. Kylian Mbappe's goal-scoring form is nothing short of absolute insanity. 0 goals in the Champions League this season for Vini. 9 GA and 12 in La Liga. But 400,000 euros a week? I don't necessarily think this is realistic. As much as it would be, insane, absolutely insane to watch him in the Premier League, and it really, really would, because I always want the best players to play in the Premier League. I don't think this one's realistic. So, yeah, and in terms of Maignan, the AC Milan goalkeeper that has been linked again to Chelsea, I do think this one could be happening. I'm not going to lie. It kind of reminds me of when we signed Pedro Porro. It was happening, then it's not happening, then it's not happening, then it's happening again. There's a lot of reports on Twitter that Maignan is heavily wanted by Juventus and Chelsea. Now, AC Milan right now are having a very good season in terms of their, table position. Last year, they didn't get into Europe. This year, they're only 2 points off of top of the table. I don't think this is realistic for a January transfer because, after all, replacing a top-class goalkeeper like that is going to be very difficult. But the AC Milan, the Serie A Scudetto title race, and a lot of people's opinions this season, is a 4-horse race. Inter, of course, won it last 5 years. AC Milan have won it last 5 or 6 years. Napoli have won it recently. Juventus haven't won it for a couple of years now. And Bologna, in recent years, have got better and better and better. I don't believe AC Milan would sell Mike Maignan at this point. It'd have to be a summer move. If they do get him in the summer, though, you are talking about a very, very good goalkeeper. But Chelsea heavily rely on playing out from the back, like a lot of teams do in this modern era of football. So it wouldn't surprise me if this happened, because Mike Maignan is pretty good with his feet. But imagine a Chelsea side with Mike Maignan, Adam Wharton, and Vini Jr., because they are prepared to spend big. They need to get back into the top four to enable this spend to continue. But let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you next time. I'm out.